Hello, party people! It is Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I'm here today in the yard. Why am I in the yard? The bead studio's torn apart. It's not... We won't even get into that. But anyway, today I'm here to tell you about the Amber Xylophone Taylor's Falls Bead Store X Thunderhorse Descendant Found Objects Challenge that we did for an elite few who volunteered to want to do this challenge with us. I'm going to tell you more about that. But first and foremost, let me address the fact that I have been sick. So if you're like, Randy, where have you been? What is happening? Where are the bargain bead box videos? Yeah, we got really sick. We're still sick. So we have asked our employee, Shannon, to stay home. And I have been doing my best to run the business and doing all these other things. So I'm behind, is the moral of the story. And I'm doing the best that I can. Also, I have my bead studio torn apart because prior to getting sick, I was going to get organized. Has that ever happened to you? Well, I got everything torn apart and then I got sick. So, anyway, it's coming together. Jefferson just installed a new monitor for me for beading, so the videos can be hopefully more clear and have a better definition and a camera and all these things, which are good. I got a new beading table. I'm going to be a sit-down beader now, so I got all these things going on. Anyhow, I'm about to show you my float bead project along with the 4 other people who participated. So big shout out to number 1, Amber, who came up with the challenge. So how did she come up with the challenge? It just so happens that there's vendors at Taylor's Falls, and they go to auctions, and they bring items in that they find sometimes in auctions, and they should sell them at a discount price in the basement of the bead store. And so sometimes they have like a jewelry rack and they put things on there. And Amber came across these 5 float beads. So the float beads are from the 1920s. They were used, we did some research. We did kind of a deep dive research after Randy lost her bead and might needed to order a new one in the mess of a studio. So they're from the 1920s. They are from Alaskan. They're float beads that they use in Alaska for salmon fishing on the nets. So they're literally like the big float beads from the nets. And we had 5 of them. So thank you to Amber for coming up with the challenge. And then I asked some of my friends in the Thunderhorse Descendant family if they would like to participate. It's just for funsies. We're not having a prize or anything like the Found Objects Challenge. It was just like, hey, we got these 5 things. Who wants to play? So we had some volunteers, and the volunteers are Karen Waters, Rosanna Bradford, Rebecca Dexter, and myself, and Amber Xylophone. So these are all some super wonderful creators, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. So I shipped the beads out to them, and then we gave it like a month's worth of time to create your project. So you're going to see my project, and then you're going to see all of the other artists' projects and the photos that they have sent to me in order to compile this video, since we are from all kinds of different states. I think we are Virginia, Minnesota, Montana, and Maine. Is it Maine? I think it's Maine. Yes. I'm pretty sure it's Maine. Anyways, so you're going to hear the artists talk about what inspired them to make their project, etc., etc. So we did not see, and nobody has seen anything until this video. So the other artists haven't even seen each other's projects, so it's super exciting. Anyways, that's the goings-ons over here at Thunderhorse Descendant. I thank you all very much for being patient. If you want to find out more about Thunderhorse Descendant, the groups, the websites, the families, the lottie-dottie, please go down into the description of this video where you'll find the links to all of my stuff. And come join us over on the Facebook group page and join our group and start participating in some fun things. We do this type of thing, anybody is welcome. We do Found Objects Challenge every month, which is a nice fun thing that we do, which I'm going to revamp for next month. So that's going to be super fun. And then we do What's on Your Mat every day. We have a really good group of ladies and guys over there on the Thunderhorse Descendant Facebook group. Very supportive, very helpful, very knowledgeable if you're looking for answers to questions, all that good stuff. So we invite everybody to come over to the Facebook group, hang out with us, get involved. We would love to have you. Anyways, let's get on with the video, and I'm going to flip and I'm going to tell you about my project. Hey guys, here we are with my project. This is the finished project, and this is what I did with my bead. So this is what it looks like. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the big focal float bead. I did a primitive mandala pattern on each side, so if it twisted you could still see the mandala. So I wood burned that onto the wood bead. So this is a 1920s float bead. This bead was given to us by our friend Amber from the Taylor's Falls Bead Store as part of the Amber Challenge. And there was 5 beads that she originally gave, and I sent them to a few friends. You're going to see them coming up next. So yeah, that's a little bit of history about the bead. It's from the 1920s. We Googled them and looked them up online, and basically this is a bead, float bead, that was used on a fishing net around the 1920s for Alaska salmon fishing, or Alaskan fishing. They assumed salmon fishing, so that's what it is from. So the symbol of the mandala symbolizes the universe in its ideal form. Its creation, the creating of it, signifies the transformation of the universe from suffering into its ideal form of joy and beauty. So that is that. Sorry if you're hearing noises, we're outside because my studio's all tore apart. So that is that. Next up I used some fish vertebrae. We saw these on the website, so they were available to me. And so I thought, okay, we got kind of this Inuit Alaskan situation going on, so that seemed appropriate. These guys here are the skunk beads. So skunk beads are a symbolization of the earth, even though they are Venetian glass. So originally they were meant, for a glass bead to have, significance. But they were the kind of like the first attempt at lamp glass. And so anyhow, those are African trade beads that I got at Taylor's Falls Bead Store, and they are throughout the necklace. And so anyway, they're supposed to symbolize being from the earth, made of silica and sand, because technically that is what glass is made of. These guys right here are horn. These are just large horns. I thought they were very cool. We're going with the theme. And then we have the brass. So I was looking and I found out that most of the whalers, the harpooning whalers, used a combination of brass and steel in their harpoons. So I have brass on there. And then for the actual stringing portion, I put this on leather, and I just used a Old Faithful clasp on the end. And so that is my float bead project. I got a few photos for you guys. So anyway, that's what I got going on.
Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to look at my wooden float from the challenge that Rand put out for a few of us to try doing. Now, if you watched when she first introduced the floats, I commented that, ooh, I have an idea for that right off the bat. And she said, well, give me the idea, or if you want to participate, let me know, because we have 3 other people that can participate. So I'm one of those who decided to participate. So she sent me the wooden float, and I got right to work on it. The first thing it needed to have was a nice heavy chain. It's a big, my grandson calls it a potato. It's a big float, and so it needed a big chain. So I put a big chain on it right off the bat. But then my idea was that because it's a float, well, it needs to stay afloat. So it needed to have a net attached to it. So I searched around locally, and I finally found some replacement net at one of our local sporting goods stores, the Sportsman. So I bought it, and it was way bigger than I needed, so I just cut the end off, and then I got to work on making it part of my float. Because what this one is, and I have titled it such, is the ghost net. Now, if you don't know what a ghost net is, it's a fishing net that has escaped, and it floats around in the ocean and gathers things up. And because there's no way of getting them out of the net unless they manage it on their own, then a lot of these critters that get into it die. So we have bones, and we have fish, and we have various other things in our net. But while getting the net ready, after I cut it, I realized the knots are coming undone. So I pulled the knots back together and put a dab of super glue on each of the knots. And yeah, I got super glue on my fingers. Messy. But that's all right. It's mainly come off by now. But then the next chore was getting the net attached to the float. So I attached it on both sides of the chain up about 3 or 4 links on either side, and then I drilled some little holes in the float and put some little eye pins in there, and then hooked the net onto the eye pins onto the float. And then it has all kinds of little critters into it. So let's go look at it, and I'll show it to you. Hey, here she is. Isn't this cool? I really like it. I think it turned out really nicely. But let's face it, this is a statement piece. You're going to have to really, really have the oomph to wear this baby. But here is our float. And if I flip it up like this, you can see how I've hooked it to the net here with the with some jump rings and some little eye pins screwed into the float. So let's flip the float back to the right direction. Here's where we've hooked it onto the chain. It's like that on either side. And then here is our net with all of our poor things that got stuck into it. There's a fish with his bones are some of his bones are hanging down. There's some shell, starfish, and incidentally, these starfish were I took them out of my bargain bead box Coastal Breeze set. There's some more little fish here, some lures. We even have a pearl, lots of other fish, some sea glass, more fish bones. More fish bones and shell. There's some more sea glass. another fish bones with a fish bone stuck to it. It's various wonderful fun things. Oh, sorry for my fingers. So anyway, there it is, our finished necklace. You can see it sort of long hanging there on Bonnie. Bonnie is the mannequin, by the way. And yeah, I thought it turned out really fun, and I really like it. The only thing I really don't like too much is the connection to the chain, because the net gets a little bit gathered up too much there. But it's still a fun piece, definitely fun to make, and I hope you enjoy seeing it. Anyway, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and this has been the Fishing Float Challenge with Thunderhorse Descendant. And I hope you enjoyed seeing my piece, and I hope that you like that. Bye-bye.
All right, well, here it is. Got some driftwood, Lake Superior agates, a lot of stone beads like Larimar and kyanite. There's a snail operculum shell. There's a snail shell, a red pencil sea urchin spine, a pearl, some fish vertebrae, a carved bone feather, some quote-unquote sea glass. That's the modern made stuff. The driftwood I got on a trip up north this summer, and the Lake Superior agates Jeff drilled. The fish vertebrae came from Africa. Got them at all the stone beads I got at the bead store. Oh, and then this rope was from Tibet. It was a monk's belt at one point. I picked it because I thought it went with this. Excuse me. So the idea was showing all the lives that this bead, the inspiring bead, has gone through. So I wanted to show like movement as it goes from the ocean stage. You know, there's like the tree stage where there's birds in its branches, you know, green for the leaves, and then reaching up to the sky, which I wanted to incorporate the sea glass. And then coming back down, you've got the actual wood of the tree that it once was, and then going back into the earth with the rocks and the roots. And that's my story. Alright, that was fun.
Okay, anyway, this is Rebecca. I did the bead challenge with Randy, and well, the wooden bead, I took like this cloth ribbon kind of thing, and I went ahead and glued that around the center of it. It has dragons on it. I don't know if you can see that that's a dragon or not. Anyway, so I did that, and then I didn't know what else to do. So then I thought, oh yeah, make a chain fringe. So then I went ahead and made that chain fringe. Okay. Then I realized, we got two different cultures going on here. And then I thought, well, you know what, though? Those are my two favorite cultures, the Asian culture and the American Indian culture. So then I thought, you know, it would be really nice to have a tassel hanging off the top of it. So that's what I did. I ran the tassel off the top, and then I decided to add the knotted beads to the tassel. And there you go.
How's that?